morning. It is April 25th at about 7:30 in the morning. My name is Morgan. This is my channel, Pisces Paperbacks. And today is the first day of the weekend Smutathon readathon. I didn't know about it until yesterday, or I would have posted a bit like a video with a TBR or something. But instead you are getting just my intro at the beginning of this vlog. That's, again, I don't think I really need to clarify, but that's my weekend reading challenge for this weekend, is to participate in the Smutathon. There are no particular challenges for this one. It's just today and tomorrow, so the 25th and the 26th. Can I help you? Can I help you, ma'am? I have 5 books here that I'm going to try and read. I think the most realistic end result of this weekend is that I read 4 romance novels. I'd like to read 5. I think if I really push myself, I can get to 6. Anyway, let's get started. The priority book for this weekend, specifically this morning, I need to finish this book today. Oh my god, you are literally standing in front of my camera. Oh, sweetie. Stand over there. No? Okay. Priority for this morning is Dark Prince by Feehan. This is a book that I'm reading with my friend Hannah. We're going to be talking about it literally tonight on our live stream for the Love Drunk Book Club, and I haven't started it yet. I've also heard from her that it is not very good. She was like, get ready, you got a storm coming, and I was like, what's wrong with it? And she was like, it's like Dark Lover, but bad. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't even know what it's about. Okay, so it seems like the main character is a telepathic serial killer hunter, and she needs to relax for a second, so she takes a vacation and meets Mikkel. I think he might be immortal, and he needs to find a mate to save him from, it says encroaching darkness, so I feel like there's some sort of madness curse on his family. That seems pretty typical. So that's what I think that's about. Up next, I have Wild in Love by Eloisa James. I honestly think I've read this before, but I have no memory of it. So this is about Alaric Wilde, and so he goes away, I don't know, on just some adventures for funsies, and doesn't realize that people are writing about his adventures and kind of sensationalizing them in the press back in England. And when he returns, he's like, oh shit, I'm kind of famous and I didn't realize. And he meets a girl who loves books, but she's very shy and has no interest in someone whose private life is all over the press. So that sounds fun. I'm into that. Up next, I have Love Bites by Lynsay. This is the second book in the Arjano series, which is her contemporary urban fantasy vampire romance series. So I read the first one and was like, this is kind of stupid, but I had a good time. And then I was going through my library, didn't have the second one, and I wasn't really interested in the third one. So I just skipped to the fourth one and loved it. So I was like, oh shit, I kind of want to go back and just read them all in order. So this is the second one. It is, I don't need to tell you what it's about. They're all the same. It's about, there's a vampire who meets a human. They fall in love. One of them has to turn the other one into a vampire, and that's how it goes. That's how they all are. That's how, there's no more than that. Next, I have The Sum of All Kisses by Julia Quinn. I've read one Julia Quinn book other than this. I don't remember what it's called. So that's not really a good vote in its favor, but I did enjoy it. I remember that. Oh god, his name is Hugh. Oh my god. I'm so into this. Okay, so it's about a guy who is very serious and doesn't really have patience for dramatic women, and he's and this woman, Sarah, could never be considered shy. She's very loud or whatever, but he fought a duel that left him with a ruined leg, so he could never even dream of courting a woman like Sarah. So it's one of those books where the guy is convinced that he does not deserve the woman because of something in the past. He's possibly injured, possibly emotionally damaged or something like that. And she's like, oh my god, that is, because you can already tell in the first couple of sentences that he's just trying to convince himself that he doesn't like people like Sarah. Oh my god, I'm already into that. Okay, I'm so excited about that now. That's so cute. And then the last book I have here is Sweet Vengeance by Kat Martin. I don't know what this one's about either. Okay, it seems to be a little bit My Fair Lady, Pretty Woman. It seems to be from a trilogy, but I'm assuming it's from the kind of trilogy where it doesn't matter if it's a trilogy, so that's cool. And I think that's all of the books that I wanted to talk about. Here they are. Dark Prince is the one I'm going to start off with, but I am suddenly so excited about The Sum of All Kisses, so that one's definitely up second. And then after that, we'll go from there. I will keep you updated. Okay, so it's a couple hours later, and I am, 58 pages into Dark Prince. I had hoped to be further along, but I'm honestly not having a great time. The book literally starts out, and the guy's like, I'm so lonely and sad. What am I gonna do with the rest of my life? Because he's like kind of a vampire. I don't remember what the word is for his like ancient race, the Carpathians. But the girl who has telepathic powers like reaches out to him and is like, are you good? Are you okay? And literally within 8 pages, he's like kind of sexually harassing her through their mind connection. 10 pages later, he's basically kidnapped her. He telepathically felt when this guy like touched her arm and then tried to kill him by like choking him with the force or something. I'm just getting major they'll never find your body in the woods type vibes from this man, and it's not great. It's only a few pages later, but basically she was confronted by this guy. The guy who touched her, that Mikhail Mikhail's the old guy. I guess he's not old. He looks like 30, but he is like ancient. Anyway, the guy that Mikhail tried to kill through the force confronted Raven and was like, how do you even know him? I heard he's really rich, and like how do you even know this guy? And she's like, none of your beeswax. And this guy's like, you deserve each other. Don't come crying to me when he leaves you pregnant. She met this guy 2 days ago. Like, we have seen them interact on the page before this time right now once. One time. A single time. I can't deal with this. Okay, love this. So basically, they slept together for the first time on page 80, which I'm an instant gratification type of girl. That's why I like to read romance. But even that's a little fast for me. Of course, she was a virgin. Anyway, it's the next day, and basically, they're like talking, but not really talking. And she's like, you're asking me to make this commitment to something I don't understand completely, because you're so, different and mysterious. And also, you have this thing where you think of women as like second-class citizens, basically, and you have the power to exert your will on other people, and I don't want to be controlled like that. And he immediately is like, no, I don't think you're stupid. I just need to protect you because, women need protecting. It's not that I think less of women. It's just that I don't think they can take care of themselves. And I'm like, sir. Anyway, 350 pages to go, so. I am just so angry. I'm 200 pages in, and Raven is just rightfully upset that she feels like she's being controlled and kind of coerced into having her feelings manipulated. Mikhail got really injured and didn't tell her the truth about where he was going, and she was like, well, we agreed to compromise, but clearly we're from 2 completely different worlds, and I just don't see how this is going to work. I want to leave. And he was like, well, you can't. It's going to be painful for you to be away from me because we're bonded now, because I said some special words to you while we were making love or something like that. So she's away from him, and she almost threw herself off of a balcony because she was so devastated at being away from him, but at the same time was in her rational mind was like, I need to get out of here and find myself again. And literally everybody is, and she's just trying to explain to this a priest, basically. She's trying to explain, she's like, it's so scary for me that I don't have control of my feelings and I don't really understand what's going on. I feel like he didn't tell me the whole truth when he was talking about the connection between us, and it's just really scary to not have control of my life right now. And the guy's like, well, first of all, you have no reason to be scared, so stop doing that. Also, are you sure you didn't, you know, have Mikhail under the impression that you were in love with him and wanted to be with him, because he wouldn't have done this otherwise. I'm like, I'm gonna kill this man. I did finish the book. It is several hours later now, and I am not going to tell you how I felt about the end of it, even though you can probably tell that I didn't like it, because I actually talked about it today on when I went live with my friend Hannah for our Love Drunk book clubs. I will link the live stream up above, and it was really, really fun. I had a really nice time, and it was also kind of embarrassing because we went live, or I thought we went live, and we talked about the book for an hour, and then I realized at the end I never hit go live, so we were just FaceTiming, we were just Skyping. So we had to do it a second time, and that took up longer than I was expecting. So I haven't started reading anything yet. Next up on the docket is The Sum of All Kisses, which is the one I was really excited about this morning. I don't think I'm going to finish it tonight because it's 9 o'clock already, and it just seems a little excessive because this is 370 pages, but I'm going to get into it. I'm going to try and read at least 150 pages. It would be nice to read closer to 200, but I have a couple YouTube videos that I want to watch first, and then I'm going to get into this. This would be an incredible romantic comedy. Like, the comedic timing of the writing is so good. It's just so, like, smart and funny and, like, self-aware as that it's, like, a romance. So, like, first of all, I love Hugh. He's very, like, logical. He loves math. He has, like, a photographic memory or anything, so he kind of like cheats at cards because he gambles because he's the second son, so he doesn't like have an inheritance that's coming to him. But literally, like, the lack of self-awareness is so funny because one of the things that was oh my god, what was it? He was like, he overheard a woman at in a ballroom one time being like, now that Prentice over there, I wouldn't let my daughter consider him as a husband, even if she, like, for some reason got interested in him, which most likely would not ever happen. And then the next line is, that didn't bother Hugh, but he still remembered it word for word. And it's like, boy, come on. But it's, like, so funny because Sarah, the girl, she's just so, like, dramatic, like, melodramatic. So at one point she's writing kind of like, her younger sisters are writing a play, and so she's in the room with them, and she dramatically goes, if I don't get married this year, I'll die, and then looks at the doorway because in the stories, that's, like, the moment when, like, the love of your life, like, dramatically arrives in the scene. And then she's like, fuck it, and then goes, if only I could find a man that will vex me for the rest of my life. And she looks up, and of course Hugh is there because they hate each other. And then the next scene is a flashback to 16 months earlier, and the title of the chapter is How They Met, the way she remembers it. And it's like, this would be such a good romantic, like, period comedy. I already like them together, and they've had one conversation, so it's looking up, guys. Another thing, and I'm sorry I'm talking so much, but something that I really like about Sarah is that she wants to get married. Like, she wants to get married and she wants to be a wife, but there's nothing about her that's like the typical demure housewife situation. Like, she's very loud and rambunctious and melodramatic, like all the things I've said before, but like, she still wants to get married and she wants to find love, and, like, that's her main goal. She wants to be a housewife. Or, like, now I guess you can't really be housewife isn't the right term for, like, nobility in the 1820s, but, like, you know what I mean? It's just nice to see that type of character balanced out. And that's kind of common. That's pretty common in romance novels, though, is you see a lot of variety of heroines who all want to get married, and it's an easy goal to give them because it's such a common expectation from this time. But I feel like already this is, like, a particularly good execution of it. Am I a new Julia Quinn stan? truly the thrill of watching two people realize that not only are they attracted to each other, but they actually like each other, all in the midst of constantly fighting. It's so good. I am 210 pages into The Sum of All Kisses. I'm loving it. The banter is incredible. Like, they actually have conversations where you see them develop a rapport and like how their senses of humor interact, and you see them interact with other people. Like, watching Hugh interact with Sarah's sisters is so funny. Like, the sisters are so funny. All of the side characters are hilarious. They're like fun characters in this kind of like whatever. Anyway, I'm adoring this. I think Sarah is so fun. I think Hugh has such a dry sense of humor, and he has so much depth, and I love seeing his wistful yearning as he realizes he doesn't dislike Sarah as much as he thinks he does, and Sarah realizing that she does want to kiss him. This book is just making me like dance around every time something cute happens. I love how they interact, and Hugh and his yearning, so good. Earlier, they were at the first wedding, and Hugh was watching Sarah dance, and he was sitting there and suddenly thought to himself, I'm never going to be able to sweep a woman off her feet and twirl around the dance floor with her, and Sarah's never going to be able to dance with me, and I don't even know why I'm thinking about wanting to dance with Sarah, but right now I would sacrifice anything to be able to put that kind of smile on her face. And I just about died. Oh my god. Anyway, it's so good. It's right about midnight, so I'm gonna keep reading. I don't even know. What if I finish the whole thing tonight? Anyway, this book is it. This book is it. It's probably gonna be 5 stars. Ugh. I hate giving romances 5 stars, even though it's my favorite genre, because I'm always like, am I being too nice to it? Because they are just romances. They're not like great literary works of art. But then I think, what other kind of book makes me this happy? You know what I mean? Good morning. I'm currently sitting on my front step while my dog decides to walk around. It is around 10:30 on Sunday, and I did mean to get up earlier, but I stayed up until like 1:30 finishing this book. I loved it. It is not a 5-star as I predicted. It's probably 4.5, but only because I feel like the climax, and like, you know how romances are always like something has to tear them apart, and then they're apart for like a little bit, and then they get back together at the end, and like that's how it works. The thing that takes them apart, first of all, is the stupidest thing I've literally ever read about in my life. Like, I don't think there's any way that would ever like actually happen, and it doesn't need to be realistic, but it was just so stupid. And then there's only one sex scene, which I was like a little bit disappointed by because I loved the chemistry between them so much. But like overall, I thought this book was just like delightful and funny and sweet and charming, and I loved the characters, and it's definitely going to get like a place of honor on my romance shelf once I can figure out how to reorganize my romance shelf. But yeah, I loved it so much. I decided to go with Love Bites by Lynsay Sands. I believe it's the second book in the Arjano family series. I just have a feeling I can get through it really fast. So yeah, I do have to say, I hate that they have like this stylized name on the top of every page. I think that's like incredibly ugly, but whatever. So yes, I'm wearing the same thing as yesterday, and also yes, I'm sitting in the exact same spot, but I wanted to give you a little bit of an update. I am 30 pages in. Basically, this book is about Rachel and Etienne. Etienne is a 300-year-old vampire, and Rachel is a mortician. Not a mortician. She does autopsies. What is that? She works in a morgue. I don't know what the name for that is. Basically, the book starts off with Etienne getting shot by somebody named Pudge. We don't really know what the backstory relationship between them is yet. And he ends up in the morgue. Rachel removes the bullet, and Etienne wakes up, and Rachel like passes out. And then Etienne like erases their memories, but now it's I think a few weeks later, and Etienne has just died again from a car bomb and is now ending up back in the morgue again. So I think it's gonna be like, because of Pudge, I think exploded his car, rigged his car to blow up. Anyway, so basically I think that's like the setup, that he keeps waking up in the morgue with the same lady, like cutting, you know, making sure, doing his little autopsy thing. So I'm into it. That's the setup for this book. I will continue and update you later. Quickie update, I am 126 pages in. Rachel's become a vampire. This book has kind of that like humorous tone to it. I don't think it's quite as funny as The Sum of All Kisses, but I do like it. It's one of those like kind of light romances. Like, it's not very serious. It's just like good vampire fun. And I mean, can you really ask for more? So it's a good time. If you only count the time that I've actually been reading and not all the time I took to take a break for lunch, I'm gonna finish this book in like 3 hours flat, which is like not bad, I'm gonna say. It's pretty good for me. I finished Love Bites. I liked it a lot. I think I'm gonna give it like 3.5 stars or something like that. It is like the definition of a romp, so it was really fun, lighthearted, humorous, like plays with the idea of vampires and like modern life and all that. It's my favorite vampire origin story I've ever read. It does involve nanobots and Atlantis, if you're interested. Definitely very funny. When I first read that for the first time, I was like, excuse me, what? But I really liked it, and now I'm trying to decide, because I have 2 other books that I picked out for this weekend. One of them is Wild in Love, which I honestly think, as I was reading the description yesterday, I'm like, I think I've read that. And Sweet Vengeance by Kat Martin. And I'm trying to decide if I actually, I just dropped them. I'm trying to decide if I like actually want to read one of these, or do I want to like just read like smutty novellas for the rest of the day? Because I feel like I kind of want to do that, but I kind of want to do this. So I haven't decided. I'll let you know. That noise is also on her scratching post. I decided to take a break from real books, and I'm going to read, or full-length novels, and I'm going to read the group book for this edition of Smutathon, which is Theirs for the Night by Katee Robert. I believe it is a menage a trois novella. So curious to see how that works out. And then I think after I read this, and maybe like 2 more novellas, I will dive into probably Sweet Vengeance by Kat Martin. Back again with another clip in the most visually interesting vlog ever, where I stay in the same 2 reading spots and don't ever move. Anyway, I just finished Theirs for the Night. I was blushing. It was very steamy and very good. And it's the first in a trilogy. So I was like, I'll read a novella trilogy, and I'll just do that right now before dinner, and then like read a book after dinner. That'll be fine. The second and third books, like the first book was 70-something pages. The second and third book are each at least 210 pages, and I'm like, I'm gonna read them, but I don't think I'm gonna read them right now, or I'll at least just start the second one. But I'm like, I was into it. That was a nice little novella, and it does a good job of like the first 90% of it is like smut, but the last 10% of it is like, oh, we're gonna throw in a plot, and there's like gonna be follow-ups, and there's like some intrigue going on. So it's very like, I'm into it. What can I say? Good one, Katee Robert. I don't know if I'm gonna rate it. I feel weird rating that. I guess I'd give it like a 4-star. I don't know. It's kind of weird reading smut. It makes me a little uncomfy, because it's like, it was good, but I don't know. To update you, I finished Forever Theirs. It was incredible, and I'm about to start, I think it's Theirs Ever After, or Ever After Theirs. I'll put the picture up over here. I love it. I love it so much. Polyamory is like where it's at. Why are there not more polyamorous romances? And why can't they be this perfect? They should all be exactly like this, and I love it. So good. Katie Robert, I'm a fan, girl. I'm a fan. If you're wondering where I am, I'm outside because I'm letting my dog out before bed. But I finished the third book in it's called the Feehan Dynasty trilogy. I liked it a lot. Definitely like the first one's a novella and then the second one is a book, but they are like the same story, and then this third one is like a true sequel. I liked it. I didn't like it quite as much as the other ones because in this one they're an established like relationship at the beginning of the book, which I love that, but I think there was just a little bit too much like internal relationship conflict in this one for me to really enjoy. I love a little relationship conflict, but I like them to work through it constructively before literally the last page of the book or something like that. And that's not it wasn't like literally the last page, but I just wanted them to be a little bit happier. I don't mind the conflict as much when they're like still trying to figure out their relationship, but overall I liked it. And that means, ooh, that white balance, that means I officially finished 6 books for Smutathon. It's telling 10:30 now, so I'm not gonna read anything else for tonight, but I just saw somebody across the street. I'm gonna keep talking to myself though, but I will do like a wrap up situation tomorrow morning before work. We made it to the end of Smutathon. Good morning. It is Monday now, and I'm just gonna do a quick little wrap up. This weekend I managed to read 6 things, which I'm really happy about. 3 of them were like not full length novels, so like it counts, I say. But I did read 3 of my romance novels that I've just had in my house. I have like 7 at any given time that I just haven't read, and these have been around for a while. So I'm just going to run through everything I read, tell you what I thought about them, and actually 2 of these are not actually the ones I read. Let me get those. Alright, I've returned. I'm back with the correct books. So the first book I read this weekend was Dark Prince by Feehan. You may have been able to tell from my 10 minutes of ranting, but this was my least favorite. I hated it, and it's probably one of the worst romances I've ever read. So, you know, and I've read a lot of them, so that's saying something. I just despised it. I'm pretty sure you know what it was about, so I'm not going to recap that, and I'm going to move on. If you want to see more of my feelings, I'm going to link, again, my Love Drunk Book Club live stream that I did with my friend Hannah. It was really fun. That's going away. But fortunately, right after that, I read The Sum of All Kisses, which was wonderful. I really want to give it 5 stars. I really haven't decided yet because I loved it so much, but I also can see objective flaws with it. You know what I mean? That's my problem with romances, is sometimes I just give them 5 stars because I love them so much, but I can rationally talk about all of the problems with the books, and sometimes with a 5-star book, I just want to be able to like love it too much to see the issues with it. But yeah, I adored this. I thought it was so funny, so aware, like self-aware, so romantic. The climax was really stupid. I thought like the resolution was also really stupid, but I just love the characters so much. This was so good. This only had 1 sex scene in it. That's the thing though. This one had like a million sex scenes, but they were all bad. This one only had 1 sex scene in it and like a couple other steamy scenes. This one had a couple sex scenes, so it wasn't that bad. But so Love Bites by Lynsay Sands, I actually quite liked. I definitely liked it better than the first book in the series, which I thought was so dumb. But I didn't like it quite as much as the 4th book in the series, which is the other one I've read. But I really did like it. I enjoyed it. I'm very excited for the 3rd one because the 3rd one actually already sets up the couple a little bit in this book, which the other books like didn't have any like prior setup. So that's kind of fun, even though, you know, it's minor setup. But yeah, this was really fun. The problems with this book are that the romance happens over the course of like a week, so it just feels a little rushed. And yeah, that's it. It was just kind of like, but it was still fun. So I'm probably gonna give this 3.5 stars. That's the vibe I'm feeling. And then, surprise winners, I read Theirs for the Night, Forever Theirs, and Theirs Ever After, which is the Thelanian Dynasty trilogy by Katee Robert. Wow. Overall, the series experience, I'd probably give around 4 stars. Because I was just like a little let down by the third one. I realized last night that I had never actually given you a real synopsis, like a description of the series, but basically Theirs for the Night is about Meg Sanders. She's a struggling grad student, and she decides to go out for her 23rd birthday, and while she's out at the club, she runs into 2 very attractive men who seem interested in sharing her for the night. And so she has a one-night stand with them, and ends up, they like really vibe and they really connect. But they seem to be involved with something kind of dangerous, something a little mysterious going on, and they're very insistent that it can only be for the night, and it could be dangerous for them if they like try to stay involved with her. Obviously the second one, which is the first full-length novel, is basically a continuation of that story, and as you might have guessed, they come back for her, and there seems to be, oh my gosh, there seems to be some sort of international intrigue sort of going on. I don't want to give any more than that because it's kind of like a surprise at the end of the novella, like what the drama is, but yeah, so they spend the second book kind of dealing with that, and then the third one, like, is a romance series, so I don't feel like as bad about like spoilers and like high stakes things, but basically at the third one, they are an established relationship, so, and then it kind of goes from there. I really liked this. This was, I honestly think, the first romance, like, novel series, or smutty romance, or whatever, that I've read where it was like a polyamorous throuple, and not like a threesome for one night situation, which always feels very, fetishizing to me to like read. I don't know, something about that feels weird to me. But as a throuple where 3 people feel an emotional connection with all of each other, I really enjoyed it. I thought it added a really interesting emotional layer to the romance, and I'm very glad that I read it. I also think that they were incredibly smutty, and I liked the variety of the sex scenes too, because I feel like a lot of the times with that kind of stuff, you could, I mean, even with all the straight romances that I read, you know, all the sex scenes are kind of the same. And so I was kind of expecting the same thing from this, and there was some variety in there. I was impressed. I don't know why I sound so, like, surprised, but I was. So, yeah, that was a really fun time, actually. And I'm probably going to read more Katee Roberts, like, binge Katee Roberts whenever I need, like, a pick-me-up. So, yeah, those are the 6 things that I read this weekend. Oh, I didn't actually rate them. Theirs for the Night, I'm probably going to give... I feel weird rating novellas, so I'm probably not going to rate that one. But Forever Theirs, I'm going to give 4 stars, and then Theirs Ever After, I'm going to give 3 stars. So that's how it lines up. So those are all 6 things that I read this weekend. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you read any of these books, if you plan on reading any of these books, if you plan on reading any of these books, please let me know. And yeah, did you read the Theirs for the Night thing? Because I'd love to talk about it. I really want to talk about it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again next time, probably in a couple days. Bye!